When you're a wrestler, you have a heart for the business, and it's like a piece of you. And when you have like such passion for something so strong, and you have the determination, it doesn't matter what kind of pain you're in. The way it is normally you don't see anybody kind of under 15 is the youngest that I've ever, like I'm the youngest wrestler I've ever seen wrestle around here. In June of 2015, I began my training. Training ended like October 31st. November 2nd, I got a call to go on tour, and then for the last 3 months, I've been wrestling as much as I can, so it's been pretty crazy. Aside from wrestling, I'm basically just a typical teenager. I mean, I go to school, I go to the gym, I hang out with my friends, and that's pretty much my life aside from wrestling.
Almost always. Ready? Yes.
My friends, they kind of thought that it was all silly at first, and then when I finally told them I was going on tour, they're like, this is legit, like you're actually doing something with wrestling in your life. Like, I'm like, yeah. When it comes to people at my high school, a lot of people know that I wrestle. They have a did you know about our students board up in front of the office, and 2 of my promo pictures were just put up there with a big write-up.
I'm Maddie's mom, Vicky, and I was like selling her merch and stuff last night.
And as most people know me as Maddison's dad, my name is Mike. I do lots of video and all for the Maritimes for wrestling. I'd always been a big fan myself, and when she was 5, she begged me to take her to a wrestling show. And I thought, this is great, we're gonna get there, 5 minutes in, she's going to leave. I'm gonna have to leave, whatever, yeah, sure, let's go. And from the first time she went, she just fell in love.
When I was 5 years old, my dad and I went to see a wrestling show in Halifax, and I ended up seeing some women wrestling there, and I was like, oh my God, girls do this too, and I was like automatically hooked. When it comes to what my parents think about my wrestling, I don't think I've ever met such supportive people ever aside from them. Like, everything I do they're completely supportive with. Even when I come to them with a crazy idea, they're like, I'm like, just hear me out for a second, and here, like, we can change this up, but just listen to how I say it. And they'll listen, and then they'll pitch in their ideas, and we'll all work together, and we'll make it happen.
With me, again, it's just the whole living out the dream thing. I say, how many people have ever had a chance, really, to follow their dreams? So we want her to have a chance before life breaks her. And she realizes that most people work a 9-to-5 job that they can't stand, that she gets to do something that she's wanted to do, loved to do, and felt like she needs to do.
I like it. Like when she gets a move put on her, I love it. And sometimes the like rougher the better kind of thing. Like it's just because I know she can take it, and I don't want her to ever come across as being like weak or not being able to handle something. So if she's getting like slammed or chopped or hit, I love it.
Ever since I started wrestling, like I get so many people messaging me about motivating people. There's not many women wrestlers around, so for ladies in the audience to be able to see a woman get in there and do the same thing that men are doing, it's definitely empowering, and it's a really great feeling to be able to know that girls everywhere are starting to look up to you, which is pretty cool.
Women can do anything they put their minds to. It's hard and you could get hurt, but if you want to do it, then do it. Like, why should you let anyone stop you from doing what you want to do?
In the wrestling business, I definitely rely on my skill more than the way I dress. When you watch wrestling on TV, a lot of times you see girls with really short shorts and pretty much just a bra on. In my personal opinion, I think it's because they have to rely on the way they dress rather than the skill they have. A lot of girls are put on TV because of how pretty they are rather than how well they actually wrestle. So for me, I like to think that, of course, it's okay to have your outfit and look pretty, but it's more important to be able to wrestle than to look pretty.
When it comes to women who rely on sex appeal as opposed to skill, that's what gives women's wrestling a bad name. Maddison would never do that because, well, we wouldn't let her. But she's known just from being around that the only way to prove herself is through the hard work, the practice,
You have to actually learn the moves.
Yeah, exactly, to learn the moves right.
Hi, I'm Cody Brown, and I'm Maddison's boyfriend. I've been wrestling for 2.5 years. When I was a kid, I was always into wrestling. Like my brothers always wrestled in the backyard and stuff. And then one day I wanted to do something productive on the computer, so I looked up a wrestling school. Dating a female wrestler it's a lot better than just dating a normal chick because you can do a lot more stuff. We go to the gym together all the time and stuff, and we get booked on shows together, and she gets me booked, and we can practice and wrestle together. And not a lot of girls don't know how to just wrestle, so we can be, I don't know, over to the look-off somewhere. We just start chaining wherever we're at, and our friends would be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, check out this body slam," and she'll lift me above her head, so it's right fun.
When it comes to fighting men and fighting women, there's not really a huge difference. You use the same moves, you use the same skills. The only thing is that when you're wrestling a woman, you do a lot more girly things. Like you do the catty stuff, you do the hair pulling, and messing each other's like makeup and gear and all that fun stuff up. But that's pretty much really the only difference. We still use all the same moves and we use all the same mechanisms in psychology. So. Favorite part about the wrestling business is probably the crowd, and when you break the curtain, it's like your adrenaline is just running and everything stops and the crowd is just cheering, and it's an overwhelming feeling, but it's like you know that you've put in such hard work and effort to get to where you are. And yeah, it can be really cool. Like you're standing there and you're like, all eyes are on you. It's like you're the center of attention and everyone's focused on you and they're cheering for you, and it's like, why would someone cheer for me? Like, it's just me. Like, I'm an ordinary teenager. I don't do it. Like, I wrestle, but that's it. Like, it's like people are cheering for you, and that's the craziest part about it.
Maddie's got like an atmosphere to her, like Maddie's just over like already. She's just started wrestling.
I mean, for Maddie in the future, 5-10 years, I hope she goes as far as she can. Whether it's WWE, NXT, I don't know too much about, any of the big things, but I hope she can just go as far as she possibly can.
Yeah, she's definitely going to be a superstar.
I think so.
And one day, yeah, exactly. Whether it's Ring of Honor, TNA, whatever, she will make it someday she'll make it somewheres.
Yeah. Then we can live off her.
Everybody always tells me that when I need to graduate high school, which I obviously plan to, but they always say you need a backup plan in case something happens. The worst part for me about that is I really don't know what I would do with myself without wrestling. Although I've only been wrestling for 3 months, it's been my life for the last 10 years. I don't see myself doing too much other than that. I'm obviously going to graduate high school, but I really don't know what I'm going to do with myself after that, because wrestling really is, it's me.